Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video, one that I am both excited yet absolutely terrified to film. So let's address a couple of things before we get started. Yes, I am filming this at about 11:15 at night on a Sunday. Not really the best time to be filming this, but we're doing it anyway. And yes, I am wearing Grinch Christmas pajamas in July. So now we've got that out of the way, I am filming my first ever, I don't really know what I'm going to call the series. I think I'm going to call it Read Your Shelves. If this is the first of my videos that you are watching, I have got back into reading over the last year and a bit. Before then, I owned very little physical books, and then I fell down the rabbit hole of BookTube, and I have that kind of addictive personality that meant that I had to go all out. So I have my rainbow shelves. They look beautiful. I don't really want to change them, but the shelves you are currently sat on are an absolute mess. There are so many books all over the place. They don't fit properly, they're stacked weirdly, and I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed about the number of books that I have. I would really like to clean up my physical TBR. Also, my fiance is really kindly buying me a Kindle for my birthday, which means that I will probably just switch to my obsession going digital. The worry with that is that I'll read digitally more than physically, and so I really want to persevere with reading through my physical TBR. I do think that there are books on here that I could just unhaul without reading them. I think there are some that I maybe, don't serve me in the same way as they did Kat in last February when she fell down the hole of BookTube, but that's a problem for another day. For now, I want to try and get through some reading of my shelves. So I've really been inspired by Books with Emily Fox in particular, who has a series called Read It or Unhaul It, where she has a huge bag with little post-its or notes of all of her unread books. She goes through, she picks one out, and then she either has to read the book or unhaul it. And I would really love to do that. One of the hardest things for me when it comes to reading through my physical TBR is the amount of choice that I have. I have around 150 books on my physical TBR, and so it's really hard to decide what to read. I will often just either pause for ages and not read something, or I will read something that I know I'm going to love. I would almost rather read something I think I'm going to unhaul so I can unhaul it. But anyway, so I want to remove some of the elements of choice. And so I have made my own version of the Read It or Unhaul challenge, which I think I will be calling Read My Shelves. And I will be numbering each of these vlogs as I do more of them, because I'm hoping this is not going to be the only one. So I will be doing this using a TBR jar that I purchased from Etsy. I can't remember the name of the shop, but I will link it down below. I really like the jar, though it's way too big for the number of books that I actually have, which did make me feel a bit better, I'm not gonna lie, because the bag that Emily Fox has is huge, but she has like 400 or something books on her TBR, whereas as I say, I do have about 150 on my physical TBR, so that actually only equates to like this many. I think because also I've only included the first in series, where I own the full series, but need to read the first one. So yeah, it doesn't actually look as sad as I thought it would look, which is really good. But still, I would love it if it physically in my room looked less. So what I have in here is all of my unread books on these little notes. Again, I could have gone for bigger notes and it would have looked less silly, but I have them on little notes. They are color coded. I do not remember the color code. I added all of these a couple of months ago. Pink is romance, because there's a lot of pink in here, and like the majority of my rainbow shelves is romance. So pink is romance. Purple is graphic novels and mangas. It's the other three. There's then yellow, green, and orange. I think orange is mystery, but that's not a category I own that many physical books of, so it feels unnecessary that I made that a category of its own. And then I think, I can see what that yellow has like Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun, which I don't know if that means that the yellow category is YA or whether the yellow category is fantasy. And then I don't know what the green one is. So it's going to be a little bit of trial and error to see what I get. So you may question, Kat, you're in the middle of reading Jade Legacy and Ariadne. You could just read those. I could, but I really want to just clear out the TBR. I'm not in the mood to pick either of those up, so I would like something new. In terms of what I am hoping will come up, so this week at work is my second to last super busy week at work. I'm in the office 4 days, which is should be conducive to reading because it means there's commutes multiple ways. And so I am hoping that if it was a shorter book, I could read the whole thing this week. I'd rather this vlog didn't like drag on to multiple days. At the weekend, I probably won't really have much time to film because I have plans both days. I'm also back at rehearsals this week, which is not ideal from a reading perspective because it means that I'm like back out a number of times. So yeah, ideally I would like a short book. I would probably like a romance because I'm just a romance person. I have a feeling I'm going to get like a big fantasy that's the first in a series because I have been saying that I will not start a new fantasy series until I finish Jade Legacy. And now that I'm doing this, well, all my fantasies are in here. So I'm a little bit, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but I'm going to be honest and I'm going to tell you what's actually in here. So I'm going to shake this up and then let's pick a book. So because of the way that I've folded the little notes, if I'm looking at the jar, I will be able to see what's in there. So I'm not gonna look. I'm so nervous about this. I'm so nervous about this. Okay. Okay, what color is it? Okay, it's a greeny color. I don't know what that is. I don't even know what greeny colors are. Okay. Is this real? Okay. So this is ACOTAR, for any of you that are listening, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So I have not read any Sarah J. Maas, and I do own ACOTAR. Let me go get it. So I'm not actually mad about this because I've been thinking about wanting to read this for a while. So I am in two communities. I'm in the planning community and the book community. Recently, the planning community crossed over into the book community and everyone's reading ACOTAR right now. And Nella, if you watch this, so Nella, who's one of the artists that works with Anna on the Mystery, Nella has been reading ACOTAR, like rereading, I think. And Andrea from Squirrel Prince Co. and everyone has been reading ACOTAR. So this kind of works, I think. So I don't know very much about what ACOTAR is about. I believe the first one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and then it divulges from there. The issue with this is this is the start of a series, and I doubt I will unhaul this. Like, I would have preferred to have picked a book that I would have unhauled, to be honest, but you know, the bookshelf gods have spoken, so we'll be reading ACOTAR. So what I will be doing is updating you at various points throughout the week on how I get on with ACOTAR. The fates be weird.
We will be calling at
Hi, happy Wednesday. I have done a terrible job at updating this vlog. I'm so out of practice with them, but also I think it was a really poor choice for me to attempt to do a vlog during this week at work. I am about 5 working days away from the end of my season at work, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to be done. It has been relentless. I've been understaffed for several weeks for multiple reasons, and that has made it even more exhausting. I'm just so tired. I've worked so many hours. It's just been a lot, but that's not why you're here. You're here to get my feelings on ACOTAR. So I am like 200 pages into this now. I obviously should have checked in earlier, but I haven't had time. Every piece of reading I've done for this has been on the train, and I live on a commuter line, so there's absolutely no way that I could vlog on the train, and I've just barely been home to really do this of an evening. So let me just catch you up. So if you haven't heard of the story of ACOTAR, it is basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling, at least up until the point that I'm still reading. And it's about a girl called Feyre who is incredibly poor. Her family are really down on their luck and they're really struggling in the winter. She hunts, think kind of Katniss Everdeen, you know, and she is just generally really unhappy. She doesn't really get on with her family, but feels really obliged to take care of them. And then one day when she's hunting, she is going to hunt a deer, but a giant wolf kind of comes in and looks like he's going to steal the deer from her. And she has an inkling that this wolf is maybe a fairy, which are the magical beings in the world that Feyre lives in. But she is kind of almost threatened by the wolf to decide to kill him. He doesn't really give up a fight. She shoots an arrow through him. He dies. And it turns out that he is a magical being. And Tamlin, who is in the form that Feyre initially meets him, is a beast, comes basically knocking on her door saying that you've taken one of our lives, we need to take one of yours. That's the deal with the treaty between the humans and the fairies. You're going to have to come live with me for the rest of your life. And Feyre can't really disagree with him. She also doesn't really get on with her family well enough that it's necessarily really, really worth the fight of staying, though she definitely feels guilty about it. None of her family choose to offer up themselves instead or anything like that. Her dad literally says to her, don't bother attempting to come back. Like, there's nothing for you here. So she goes with this Tamlin to go and live in his manor house in the woods in kind of Beauty and the Beast style. And that's basically it. So, so at the moment, we are just finding out more about what it's like for Feyre and Tamlin to live together. And it's starting at the point that I'm out to get to the steamy parts. So I'm very interested to see how this works. I don't read a lot of fantasy romance. I read a lot of romance, but not fantasy romance. So I'm very interested to see what we're going to have in this kind of like beast human thing. Although Tamlin is definitely often mostly in human form. In terms of what I think of the book so far, it moves so quickly. Feyre moves in with Tam in like chapter 2. It's so fast. And I have no idea where the story is going to go from here. Like, as I say, I'm about 200 pages in. So am I just over halfway? I'm just under halfway. I think I'm slightly under halfway. And I'm like, we've done most of the Beauty and the Beast part. You know, we're working up towards the romance. Great. Being me, love a romance. I'm excited to see what happens there. But I'm like, we've had so much happen already. I'm not the fastest physical reader. If I'm in the right zone, I can read quickly, but it takes a long time for me to really be in the zone to be able to read something. And I have read this quickly because it's so fast paced. You skim down a page. Maybe it's because at the moment I'm quite used to reading romances, which sort of you spend most of the book dwelling on like one POV for ages. And it's like them repeating the same issues that they have. Whereas this, you blink and a lot of plot has taken place. It's so fast paced. So far, I think it's relatively well written. I don't think it's like the best thing I've ever read. You know, obviously a lot of people, ACOTAR is like their whole world. And I'm interested to see if something happens in the remainder of this that means it's going to like, you know, make its way to the top of my read list. But so far, I think this is like 4-star material. I'm really enjoying it. It's, you know, it's fast paced, it's moving, but Feyre is not likable, in my opinion. She defies the rules. I'm such a rule follower, so I think this is why me and Feyre just wouldn't get on in real life. She really, really, like, it'll be like, Feyre, stay here. And then she'll be like, I thought about it, but I decided not to. Like, you're so irritating. And I just think she's quite, you know, she's had a rough life, but because of her kind of being so down on herself, it's quite hard to read from her point of view. But I like Tam so far. He's my kind of man. I like Is it Liam? That's not his name. What is the other guy's name? Lucian, not Liam. I was like, Liam is not a fantasy romance name. Lucian, I like him. He seems kind of funny. I find it hard to read the name Alice, the like servant's name. I find the way it's spelt is really hard to read. But yeah, I am interested to see what happens from here. I will hopefully, I mean, at this point, do I think I'll check in again before I finish it? I hope so. So it's Wednesday today. I've got commutes Thursday and Friday. I could potentially finish this, but I'm not going to have time to check in with you, I don't think, until Saturday. We also have some stuff happening in the next couple of weeks because you see behind me, we have this wall. So we are getting this knocked down and becoming a bigger wardrobe space. And this has been something we've wanted done for like 3 years. So I'm really excited about that. But it means that at the weekend, we have to clear out 2 bedrooms. And I have plans on Saturday and on Sunday. So I don't know how that's going to go. But I will try and check in with you hopefully before I finish this book, but if not at the end, to let you know my thoughts. Hello, apologies for the general state of me. I am off work sick today because unfortunately my urticaria, I don't think you can tell, I'm kind of in light, that means you're not gonna be able to see it, which is a choice. My urticaria, which is the chronic condition that I have, which is basically like hives, has decided to play up today, which is very depressing because I'm on quite high level medication and have been for a while in the hope that it would fix this, and it hasn't. And I think that means that I'm going to have to go to some more serious medication after this, which is a depressing thought, but we're not going to talk about that in this vlog. But that's just to apologise for the general state of me because I'm just tired and can't, you know, this eye, everything hurts, my whole eyeball. But I have just finished ACOTAR, so let's talk about it. This vlog hasn't really been what I intended it to be because I wanted to do a proper reading vlog where I like checked in every 100 pages or so and gave you my thoughts, and I unfortunately ended up reading this at, you know, I probably just shouldn't have started the vlog at this time because I didn't really have the time to film as much as I wanted to, and I've been dealing with some mental health stuff, etc. So unfortunately, I wasn't really able to do this reading vlog how I wanted it to do, but I am still going to post it because, well, the content is there and ultimately I've read, you know, one of the most anticipated books on my TBR, so I don't want to not do the vlog. So, what do I think of ACOTAR? I have rated this 3 stars. Please don't come at me. Though what I find really interesting is when I rated it, I then had a look on Goodreads at like my friends and the people that I follow who have rated this, and most of the people that I am associated with in whatever way on Goodreads have rated this 3 stars. It's just there's a couple of people, so Hannah from Hannah's Recent Reads and my friend Steffi, who have rated this like 5 stars and multiple rereads and absolutely love it. And I don't know why I didn't love this as much as everyone else. I really went into this thinking this would be a 5-star for me because of the way that everyone loves it. But I think there's a couple of reasons. I am genuinely surprised that I didn't rate this higher. Like, I'll be honest, I was going into this thinking I would rate it at least 4 stars. It was never going into this as a hate read because like, it's funny because Stuart knows about ACOTAR, and like when he asked me what I thought of it, he was like, oh, was it too smutty? And I was like, not smutty enough. So it's not like I'm going into this to like hate read smut, you know what I mean? I read a lot of smut, so I really wanted to love it, but I also don't think I went into it with too high expectations, and that's why I've been let down. I think it's just, I know a bit more about my reading taste now, and I'm just not sure this kind of hits my reading taste. So I think I have some issues with fantasy romance in general. I don't read a lot of this particular genre, and I like fantasy and I like contemporary romance, but I have some issues around fantasy romance in terms of the smut comes when things are like really tense, or there's like someone's life is at stake and then they have sex, and I'm like, is that what you're thinking of during this time? So I was like, okay, that part doesn't necessarily work for me. In terms of this particular story, like, it is such an easy read. It moves so quickly. I think this is a really good introduction to fantasy for YA, though older YA, I guess, because of the smut, but like, it reads YA. I don't know if it's advertised as YA or adult, but it reads like older YA, like that new adult age category. That's what this reads as to me. And yeah, it's well written, it flies through, but I just think that there's so much covered, like there's so much story, and I was like, oh, there's like so much plot that I felt like you very quickly have to be invested in Feyre and Tamlin, like very early on, because the whole of the plot is centered around believing in that relationship, and it suffers from what I call like the Romeo and Juliet, like kind of insta-love trope in a way, even though Feyre and Tamlin do not have insta-love, but it is very quick that their relationship progresses from kind of hating each other to something more, and then the literal fate of the like Fey world and the human world rests on their relationship. So if you are not invested in Tam and Feyre, it's quite difficult to then really be invested in the story. And this is often how I feel watching productions of Romeo and Juliet or West Side Story, where if you're not invested in Romeo and Juliet, like everything hangs on them. And so if you don't believe them, then unfortunately that's like you kind of aren't entirely invested in the story. That is how I felt about this, unfortunately, that I just wasn't totally invested in Tam and Feyre. I do not think this is helped by the introduction of Rhysand, because I felt like we were getting like a Twilight, like a love triangle. And I'm not sure that is where this is going. Like, please don't spoil it for me, because I probably will read the other books in this series. So I don't think that is where it's going, because you find out further through the story, there's more plot is revealed, and I won't spoil what that is. But I felt a little bit like we were reading Twilight. But then I feel weird saying that I didn't like that, because I'm a Twilight girly, right? I loved Twilight. I have reread Twilight multiple times, admittedly not as an adult, and I would really, really like to reread it as an adult. And I am pretty sure my mum has bought my Twilight books over here for me, so that I may have to do a vlog on that. But I'm a Twilight person. So why wouldn't I like even a love triangle that's not a love triangle? So I don't know. But yeah, I think honestly that was the reason I couldn't rate it high. The whole time I was reading, I knew it was a 3-star. Like, I just did the whole time. And then I put it up to 3.5 stars when I like very first rated it on Goodreads, because I was like, oh no, I can't put that it's a 3-star. This is like, you know, a book that's been rated over like 1.5 million times on Goodreads. I can't put that I only rated this a 3-star. And then I read that a lot of people that I, you know, follow and stuff had rated it 3-star, and I was like, okay, actually I need to never let myself be influenced by what other people think about something. If I think this is a 3-star, it's a 3-star. So I've given it a 3-star. But I am really interested, well, not really interested, I wouldn't say I'm like obsessed, but I am interested to see where the story goes from here. I don't own the other books physically, and I'm not sure that I will. I will probably read the rest on Kindle, because I'm getting a Kindle for my birthday. So I'll probably just read the rest of them on Kindle. I'm really trying to slow down on my physical book buying. I would really like to get my books down to only one bookshelf. Originally, I wanted to, you know, have like my own library, and I wanted to have like big bookshelves and stuff. But I'm getting to that point where I feel like I have too much clutter, so I want to like decrease my books again. So I really don't see a need for me to buy this series physically, because I don't think that I will like enough. Also, I don't like these covers, and all of them are like a different neon, and that's not the vibe. I really like all the pretty aesthetic covers that everyone has. Like Hannah's Recent Reads, a YouTuber I absolutely love, and you should go watch Hannah's videos, but she has like a whole shelf dedicated to Sarah J Maas, and I love what those covers look like. But there's absolutely no point in me investing in like lovely editions of a series where I rated the first book 3 stars, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I'm just going to read the rest on Kindle, and if I end up loving it, then I can buy them after that. It's not like I'm not going to be able to buy the ugly neon covers of these, you know, they'll be around. But I would love to know in the comments, do you think that I can love this series any more from here going forward? Like, I know that a lot of people's favourites is A Court of... It's not ACOTAR, is it? It's the other one. A Court of... Oh, what's it called? I can't remember. But ACOTAR is the next one, right? Oh, I can look in here. They're on the back. Is A Court of Frost and Starlight. Is that everyone's favourite? I don't know. I now can't remember. Well, it's the grey one with the orange. I can visualise the colour. Yeah, can you let me know if you think that I can love this any more than I do now if I only rated the first book 3 stars? That's what I would like to know. But yeah, so overall, this was fine. It took me longer to read. And I mean, I say longer that I flew through the first part, and then I just wasn't really that interested in picking it up for a few days. So, but I pushed through because I wanted to finish it. So this is at least a win for having to take a day off work I didn't want to take off. So yeah, I'm glad I read it. You know, I'm glad to be one of the people that has now read ACOTAR and kind of knows what people are speaking about, and like knows who favourite is and like all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, let me know if you think I will like the other books in this series more than the first one. But otherwise, that is it for today's video. Please, can you also let me know in the comments, so my hair, I'm so sorry, I just look terrible, but can you also let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this? I appreciate, obviously I haven't given that many updates. Hopefully in future editions of this, I could give some more actual updates about like what's going on in my life at that time. So let me know what you think. But I would like to know if you like this format of like reading through my shelves, or like read it or unhaul it, that kind of thing. I don't know whether I will keep this. I just do not see myself rereading it, so I will see. But I think I'll keep it for now in case I end up liking the rest of the series. But I don't love the Monzo coral cover anyway. But I'll probably keep it for now. But right now, I do not feel a need to keep this. But yeah, I would love to know if you like this sort of format, if you like me doing this kind of challenge where I like pick a random book and read it and see what I think. I mean, I'm probably going to do them anyway, but I would like people to watch them. So I'm hoping that you like them. So if you do like them, can you tell me? Right, I am going to go because I can feel my tiredness seeping in. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate a like, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe. In the description I will have a link to my Instagram and my Goodreads if you want to check out any more content from me and like read my review of this and what I wrote there and stuff like that. You can find that down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.